So, with Survivor Series this Saturday, and this being the go home show or go home edition of Raw tonight, a lot of things have been, I guess you could say, within WWE have been popping, here and there, from a creative and storyline perspective. Some things still need to be addressed. Like some people say, the tag team situation needs to be addressed. And there's no doubt about the fact that the tag team situation does need some focus and, some storylines to really, I guess you could say, push the narrative of how important both brands' tag team titles are. But when you look at what's been going on lately, there's a lot of stuff that, gets you talking a lot more than what's going on, unfortunately, with AEW. I mean, AEW, apparently, in the eyes of some people, did lay the groundwork for some potential story arcs, long-term, short-term, mid-term, whatever you want to call them, or however you want to look at it, I should say, for the next couple of months, going forward, after Full Gear. And that's good. That's good, especially when it pertains to the world title, this whole Death Riders, invasion, hostile takeover, coup, storyline, and so on. That's a good sign. That is a good sign and everything. But when you get down to it, if you compare both companies, WWE right now is the one that has the storylines people are talking about the most. And some of the storylines are just really intriguing. And they really upped the ante a lot this past Friday on SmackDown, and they're going to continue to do so tonight with Raw. I mean, in fact, by the time you watch this, a lot of the story elements from the other matches and rivalries and stuff going into Survivor Series would have been enhanced. Well, like I said, would have been enhanced significantly, and that's a good thing in the long term. That's a good thing. But the question a lot of people have is, what is going to be the outcome for a lot of these storylines? For what we will see going forward. Well, the way I look at it, one of the storylines that they, brought to the table for going into Survivor Series for this week is what happened on SmackDown with Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill got attacked, basically in the back to where she was laid out on top of a car. She was basically obliterated by somebody to the point that they gave an overhyped, I guess you could say on WWE.com, they gave an overhyped, over-exaggerated medical report on her, basically stating that, yeah, you won't be seeing her until at least the Royal Rumble. And my assumption is, injuries or not, which she might have some injuries, I'm not going to say that she doesn't, but injuries or not, severe or not, I think one of the main reasons they did this angle wasn't just to probably, look into these potential injuries, whether the severe injuries or not, but also the fact that I believe, in my opinion, that, they feel she's not ready for War Games. That's just the way I see it. I think, honestly, I think it's probably a combination of two things. It's the combination of the, potential injuries, and whether they're severe or not, they don't want to take chances by putting her in a match like War Games. And also on top of that, they probably feel she's not ready for that kind of match yet. So that's why they did the angle. Also, it's to basically set her up for whatever her WrestleMania match is going to be. And a lot of people have been saying that the WrestleMania match is going to be between her and Bianca. And a lot of people are saying that Bianca is a top suspect in what happened to Jade. But then people are saying, well, why would Bianca do that and sacrifice her opportunity to go and become the first Women's United States Champion? And the way I look at it is Bianca's character back in NXT when she was a heel, basically her character was, she's the EST. She's better than all the women. She's the best. Nobody can, be at her level, if you will. And we have not really seen that Bianca since she's been on the main roster. We've seen snippets here and there, especially lately, but we haven't seen that Bianca on the main roster as of late. And now's the potential, I should say, of the possibility of seeing that Bianca. And what better way to probably say, hey, she's the one that did it before she went out for her United States Championship match, or not championship match, but her United States Championship tournament match. What better way to kind of emphasize that she's going to go heel and go back to that Bianca of NXT than to basically have her look down at the Women's U.S. title and say, yeah, it's a nice title, but that's beneath me. The EST deserves to be the best, deserves nothing but the best, and that being the women's WWE Women's Championship. So what better way to do that? A lot of people are saying it could be Bayley, and that if Bayley possibly, if not more than likely, joins the War Games match, the War Games team for Rhea and her crew tonight, then that's pretty much going to solidify that she did it. But we don't know. I mean, Bayley just turned face this year. She just turned back to a face this year. And just like a lot of people are with Sammy, I mean, Jason Solomon said it, best on his podcast, which I listened to his entire podcast when I was working today at my job. Even he said it's a little too soon for a possible Sami Zayn heel turn if they decide to do that on Saturday. And hold on for a sec. Sorry about that, but like I said, basically we are not. People are saying that Bayley joins the team. That basically it's pretty much gonna be Bayley that did it. But then you have other people saying it could have been Naomi. Naomi's the one that did it because of the fact that things haven't been going her way since she came back to WWE, and the potential of her and Bayley being in the finals on Saturday night's main event for the Women's United States Championship pretty much could lead to Naomi, win or lose, going heel, and then maybe that reveals her to be the one that attacked Jade. Those are all good possibilities. I'm not, stating that neither one would be, reasonable, if not workable, going into WrestleMania season. But as I was saying before the phone rang, Jason Solomon basically said that, hey, people are talking about Sami Zayn going heel, betraying the OG bloodline in the War Games and da-da-da. And it's like, he looks at the idea of, yeah, that could work, but, it's a little too soon for Sami to go heel, especially if you want to, tell that story, kind of fill in that last chapter of the current Sami Zayn run of him becoming the world champion and basically having lightning strike twice with him and Gunther come WrestleMania maybe. But that's something we'll have to see. We'll have to see if they go through with that. But, the same could be said for Bayley. Bayley just turned, as I was saying before the phone rang, Bayley just turned face this year, so it might be a little too soon for her. But a lot of people have been saying, well, her run so far hasn't been I guess you could say, satisfying. It hasn't been, like gravitational for fans and everything. And even her reign as champion wasn't, that good. And that might be all true, or might be all based on opinion and true to a lot of fans. But, Bayley, the same could be said for Sammy. Sammy had a good, had his moment just like Bayley at WrestleMania. Yeah, they fell off a little bit, but, fans still love them. They still embrace them. And, obviously if that's the case, why would you want to, risk all that? So to me, the logical two suspects would have to be Bianca and, Naomi. They'd have to be. Some people say, oh, it's got to be Charlotte Flair. Why would Charlotte Flair attack Jade? What, because she feels she's a threat to her throne? Charlotte Flair is established enough right now that she doesn't have to attack a Jade Cargill. She doesn't. I mean, yeah, you could say she attacked her because we're going back to that one moment where Jade got introduced to Charlotte, and you can kind of, sense the tension between them right then and there, and that's true. You could, play it off of that, but again, Charlotte is pretty much a made woman. She does not need to attack someone like Jade Cargill to reestablish herself as a dominant heel when she comes back. Charlotte is going to be a heel whether she's cheered or not. She's going to be a heel. And she has ways of doing that without having to attack people like a Jade Cargill. So to me, I think the most logical direction is either Naomi or Bianca. And I think right now, based on the way Bianca's been acting over the past few weeks, if not months, as well, especially tonight's interaction with Rhea in her team, it's like, yeah, that doesn't paint Bianca in a good light, especially when it comes to wondering who done it. And the question is, when is it going to be revealed? When is it going to be revealed that, Jade, basically what I'm trying to say, and I'm tired, I am tired, I do apologize, I did work today. But the question now is obviously going to be like, when is the reveal going to be? When are we going to find out who the attacker is? And I would assume we're going to probably find out either at Survivor Series, or we're going to find out at Saturday night's main event on the first Raw on Netflix. Between Survivor Series and the first Raw on Netflix, that's when we're going to find out who the attacker was, and that's going to lead us into WrestleMania with a match between Jade and her attacker. And since, again, rumors have been speculating, strong rumors and reports from within the company, believe it or not, and very reliable sources to places like Fightful Select and, WrestleVotes and PW Insider, all signs point to it being Bianca being the attacker. But again, you would say, why would she risk, a chance of being the women's United States champion, the first women's United States champion? Why would she do that? As well as risk, her current reign as tag team champion with Jade. Why would she do that? And again, the thing is, if we're getting to the point where Bianca's going to be back to being the Bianca of NXT, the heelish Bianca, the EST that thought she was above, that believed she was above everybody else, from NXT. If we're going to get that Bianca, then, why wouldn't she, want to sacrifice, an opportunity to be the women's United States champion? Why would she put in jeopardy her women's tag team title run with Jade if, as EST, she didn't believe and feel they were beneath her? I'm just saying. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's something that's going to happen. But everybody's saying it's Bayley. Everybody's saying it could be Naomi. Everybody's saying it could have been the heels, to play off, the current storyline or whatever storyline it is going into War Games. And that's all good opinions and all good theories. But there's that old saying, it's the one you least expect. It's the one you least expect. I mean, there have been a couple of examples of, this kind of a situation in the past. 2002, going into SummerSlam, Triple H attacked Shawn Michaels. Nobody knew it was Triple H, weeks before that, when they found Shawn, beaten and bloodied and battered out, in the parking lot of the arena. And to the security footage showed it to be Triple H. And then Triple H gave, in his opinion, a logical reason as to why he did it. For a year, nobody knew who hit who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin at Survivor Series 1999. Comes around Survivor Series 2000, or before that, we find out, it was somebody that didn't work for the company at that time, but it was on the verge of doing so, that being Rikishi. We didn't know that Rikishi was the one behind it. We didn't know. But what did they do to add a little bit of more intrigue to it? We find out that Rikishi was basically doing the dirty work of Triple H. That Triple H, just like with Shawn Michaels, basically 2 years later, was the mastermind behind it. He was the one that told him to basically, or convince Rikishi in story to run down Austin, because Triple H, as the explanation put it, he was the one that had the most to gain from it. Not The Rock, not Undertaker, him. And that's why he did it. So, to me, when I look at a possibility, when I look at a strong suspect with the Jade situation, all signs, especially with the way she's acting, point to Bianca. But again, we're not really sure. You know, people are pointing out this little look that Naomi had during SmackDown when she was embracing, I think, what was it, Bayley? You know, in the ring, she had this look on her face like, that look, that look is something that we don't normally see from her. Like, that's a look of, how much longer do I have to keep this up? Like, how much longer do I have to act all pretty and nice until I can finally just let loose? People are saying that's a sign right there. But if there's one thing WWE likes to have you do, especially under the Triple H regime, it's keep you guessing. And Triple H likes to base a lot of the new ideas and storylines off ideas and storylines he and his friends, were part of and took part in, years ago and decades ago, if not old storylines and ideas from the old school era. And that's a great thing. Because not everybody of the current generation of fans, I should say, know about that. Not everybody of the current generation of fans know about those kind of storylines and ideas. So that's pretty good to go with. So to me, this whole Jade Cargill situation is definitely an open door of a whodunit, but all signs, in my opinion, have to point to Bianca. They have to. And again, if you're going to bring back the heel EST from NXT onto the main roster, that heel EST will look down upon the women's U.S. title and the women's tag titles as beneath her, and that she, being EST, only should be at the top with the women's championship. Again, I could be wrong, but it makes a lot of sense in my opinion. And then you take a look at the men's War Games. We see CM Punk being entered in as the fifth man. That kind of teases a little bit of tension or future tension between Roman and Punk, but it also builds upon the situation with him and Rollins. And then, of course, you add on to that, you have Sami Zayn involved in this, and you have Kevin Owens going after Cody Rhodes. Obviously, after Cody Rhodes, it's going to be Sami Zayn. You got all these elements in play, and the timing couldn't be better because a lot of these elements are pointing to WrestleMania. Whether Owens is still with the company or not, which I think he will be, because if you're putting him in a moment like this, there's no doubt he's probably going to stay, and it's building towards WrestleMania. What he's doing at WrestleMania, we don't know, but I've got a feeling it's going to involve Sami Zayn, and it's going to be a WrestleMania match that's a lot better than what they had several years ago. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But a lot of things are in play going into WrestleMania as the end goal. Remember what Triple H said during that WrestleMania 41 documentary they played on YouTube. WrestleMania this year was already mostly set in stone by October. They had most of what they wanted lined up and ready to go until The Rock showed up and basically screwed it up by accident and not realized, oops, maybe I shouldn't have done that when I did. Maybe I should have waited. And now we're going to probably get that match between him and Roman this coming year, which makes more sense because now you have a possible situation of Roman being like, so you're the one that manipulated Solo to do all this because you're mad that I failed at WrestleMania last year. It makes a lot of sense. So a lot of the wheels are in turn going, for WrestleMania. That's what this is really leading towards. Everything is leading towards WrestleMania. Tiffany Stratton cashing in her briefcase and everything possibly this Saturday, and mostly on Nia Jax. That's leading towards her and Charlotte come WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley coming back and going after Liv Morgan. We know Rhea's going to get the belt back, and we know that's going to lead to a Rhea Ripley Io Sky match probably on the first Raw of Netflix. Maybe a triple threat with Rhea, Io, and Liv. Not a big deal, but we know it's leading to something bigger for Rhea when it comes to the Women's World Championship come WrestleMania. We know that. So all these elements we're seeing, all these elements, as maybe confusing and kind of rushed as they might be, all have a purpose. And that purpose is WrestleMania. That purpose, is to, make sure all the pieces on the board are in place, come WrestleMania in Vegas. That's what this is all about. So, to me, we are now on the road to WrestleMania. What happened with Jade, being attacked and everything, the whole whodunit stuff, Punk being inserted, Sami Zayn being part of the bloodline situation, and Owens angry and hating Cody Rhodes for associating with Roman, and now his best friend, his brother's doing the same thing. His blood brother, if you will, is doing the same thing. It's like all signs are pointing to WrestleMania. All signs are pointing to it. So, I would say just sit back and enjoy the ride. It's going to be fun. But let me know what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts on all roads leading to WrestleMania? Already starting. With Survivor, as we already starting leading into Survivor Series and moving forward. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel. Check out my Teespring store. Link is in the description at the bottom. Check me out at divanart.com at BVW1979. And check me out in all the other locations you can find me. Links will be in the description. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you on this. Do you agree with me? And until then, I am out.